Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Welcome to part 2 of our weekly game plan for the week of December 20th through December 24th. If you have not seen part 1 of our weekly game plan, we would highly recommend that you do so. Part 1 is titled How to Make Money from Hot Inflation and Accelerated Fed Tapering and Interest Rate Hikes. And now we'll talk about what stocks, what updates we're going to make to our watch list for this week, December 20th through the 24th, based on those strategies and themes, etc., and information that we saw in part 1. So let's get started. Before we jump right into the stocks, our updates to our watch list of individual stocks, I wanted to share with you a tip on how we can find value stocks given this environment, or a risk off, rotation into value stocks, etc. I wanted to share with you a tip on how you can find these types of value stocks on a daily basis. You can see some of this process that I go through on an almost daily basis in FinViz. I've got several screeners. You can see that in this video, how to search for stocks in FinViz. In this one, I'm going to take those same queries that I've used in that previous video that you can see here, my watch list screeners, and show you how to further filter those down to find cheap value stocks, and in the future we'll probably do some videos on further information about how to find cheap profitable stocks, how to find cheap value stocks. So here I'm going to show you how to find cheap profitable stocks in FinViz. So I'm going to start with my standard screener, which will start with 90% below the 52-week high. So I've got this URL saved off, as you can see in that previous video. I just pasted into this into the URL in FinViz. Again, you can find our affiliate link to FinViz in the description box below. And you can see I end up with a total of 108 stocks coming up that are 90% above, or below their 52-week high. So to me, that's too many stocks, and I'm not really looking right now for everybody that's bottoming. I'm looking for those that are profitable. If they're making money in a higher interest rate environment, flight from risk into value, I want the companies that are profitable and they're at their bottom right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to the fundamental tab, and I'm going to say, okay, I want to see only those that have a positive PE ratio, only those that are profitable, and they're within 10% essentially of their 52-week low. So I say, okay, select profitable greater than 0. And now I'm down to 15 stocks. So I went from 108 stocks to 15 stocks, and those are all profitable. So they all have a positive PE ratio, and we could further filter them down. If we don't want a high PE ratio, we could say, okay, not only do I want it greater than 0, but I want it, say, under 50. And now from 15 we're down to 12. And now I can very quickly look at the charts of each by hovering over their link, and I can see, okay, what pattern looks good. And I can see what sector. I don't want to see anything in China. I can't really filter that very easily, just China out in FinViz, but I can quickly scan and say, okay, there's very few that I need to look at. Which one looks good? Then if I want to, I can right click, open that particular chart in a new tab, and I can quickly see the details of that particular stock, look at their metrics, etc., look at their chart in detail. So I just wanted to very quickly share that tip with you of how you can find cheap profitable stocks, again in this particular environment where we're talking about interest rates increasing and high inflation, flight to value, risk off, etc. I want to share this tip with you that you can use in FinViz on a daily basis to then screen for additional stocks to add to your watch list that are profitable and more likely to do to survive through this high inflation, increasing interest rate environment. So I hope this helps. Again, this is something you can do on a daily basis in FinBiz. Find profitable, cheap stocks and look at their charts, see which ones might be turning up, might be hitting a bottom and turning up that you might want to add to your watch list. Again, we will add those that we're adding to our watch list in the comments of this video below. So we hope this helps, and now let's jump into other ways we can update our watch list. And again, I will probably add this information and additional information in some future videos about how to find cheap profitable stocks, how to find cheap value stocks. But for now, you can see the basis of this and how to search for stocks in FinBiz in our previous video. Hope that helps. Okay, another thing I wanted to briefly share with you is that on Friday I noticed that some of the 3D printing stocks like Materialize, MTLS, Nano Dimension and DEM, 3D Systems, DDD, etc. were starting to pick up early on Friday. And we'll quickly look at those. And the ARC print, PRNT, was showing up on the hot list in Webull early on Friday. And if you look at the daily trade information from ARC that comes out, you can get this in email. It comes out in email on a daily basis, and the email I got on Friday again showed that ARC's still buying MTLS. They've been buying MTLS for some time now, and as of Friday they're still buying. If you're not getting these daily trade information emails from ARC, you can see our video on how to get and use ARC Invest daily trade information. I'll leave the link to that video in the description box below, and then you can also get that information on a daily basis. I find that very useful input. I'm not necessarily following her buys and sells, but her buys tell us that there's some upward, support from ARC underneath these stocks. If she's selling, then there's a downward pressure. So that input data is helpful. So if I quickly go into Webull and look at my 3D printing watch list, you can see we've got multiple watch lists. So we'll quickly look at the 3D printing watch list. Just a reminder, right now Webull is having a special until December 23rd. If you're not already using Webull right now, you can get 5 free stocks if you open and fund your account at Webull. Our affiliate link for Webull is in the description box below, as of all of our videos pretty much, because we really like Webull. So here's the opportunity. You can get 5 free stocks with Webull. So again, one of the nice features of Webull is you can have pretty much any number of watch lists. We have one that covers the 3D printing stocks. If you go to the stocks tab, I'm on the online browser version of Webull. We can quickly whip through the charts of the 3D printing stocks, and we can see all of them kind of had a bounce on Friday. There's 3D Systems, DM is Desktop Metal. Here's Materialize. As I mentioned, ARC's been buying, and it's had a nice bounce and it's headed up. Full disclosure, we are already long Materialize, Nano Dimension, and PRLB, which I don't have on this list. I should add PRLB. And just to show you again very quickly, and I will add the link to our previous video on how to maintain a watch list from the stock screen, but you see I can very quickly search for any symbol on the stock screen, and then I can click the little star and say add to watch list. Which watch list do I want to add it to? Okay, I want to add it to 3D printing. Boom. Now I've got PRLB is now on the watch list, and that's one that we've been long for a while. Again, we looked at Materialize is up, and then DM is turning up. Here's the ARC print PRNT ETF turned up a little bit on Friday. So again, this is a nice way to see. These guys tend to move together. So if one has good news, good earnings, etc., or starts headed up, some of the others tend to head up. Again, we're long a number of these, but just I wanted to share with you that information that I could see several of the 3D printers were getting some attention on Friday. They all look like they're starting to turn up. You might want to take a look at those. As you'll see, part of my impetus for sharing this is that when we go to our watch list, you're going to see that if I flip over now to my watch list, you'll see one of the stocks on our watch list for this week continues to be DDD 3D Systems. So we're going to continue to watch that, see if we get a little bit of a dip. It was up again Friday, so I didn't want to chase it on Friday. But if we get a little bit of dip, we'll go long 3D Systems. Looks like it's established a nice support around 20-ish. So if we get a little dip there and it's stable, we'll go long 3D System DDD as another 3D printer in our portfolio. So now we'll look at some of the other updates to our watch list for this week. Okay, so now if I select my watch list on the stocks tab in Webull, we can go through what our updates for our watch list for this week, December 20th through 24th. You can see the first one on our watch list continues to be Boyle. If you're watching the comments from last week's game plan, you can see we did a one-day scalp on Boyle. Boyle is the long on natural gas. So we on the 17th we went long. It dipped. It peaked a little bit. We made a small daily scalp profit. You know, we got 2% for the day, which equates to 60+% for if that you equate that to a monthly. So it's a nice little scalp, little profit. But we're going to continue to watch Boyle. As we discussed in part 1, you can hear our thesis on why we believe Boyle is a great opportunity for continuing to scalp. We'll keep scalping it, buying the dips, swinging it up, taking profits at the peak. While I'm discussing that, let me briefly talk about our strategy for profit taking. Again, we believe that everybody's trading strategy, your risk tolerance, your goals for trading are all going to be different. So we're telling you what we're doing here in terms of going long. When you take profits, etc., is really going to be up to you. Again, we're not financial advisors. This is educational purposes only. But I've had a number of questions as to, okay, what's your price target? What's your time frame, etc. We don't, you know, I might post a price target, but that's really a goal, a resistance level. I'm not necessarily going to wait for that price target to hit. I'm looking at the charts. We're looking at the price action, and we're looking at these support and resistance levels, and we're playing the action of the stock itself. So if I just zoom into this one to give you an idea of kind of how our strategy works, you know, when we go long, we're looking for a support. When it comes down to one of these support levels, turns up, breaks the VWAP, that's a trigger or a signal for us to go long. So there's a good example of where I might go long on a chart on Boyle. It's established support, it's broken through the VWAP, it's headed up. I'm going to go long at that point. Now, since I'm long there, I'm looking at these upward pivot points and resistance levels. Typically, when it crosses over the next set of resistance levels or pivot points, I'm going to manually put a stop limit below one of the previous lower pivot points. So in this case, when this guy breaks R2, I'm probably going to, assuming that's a profitable point, which it is, I'm probably going to manually put a stop limit underneath a couple pennies below that pivot point. So I'm going to manually trail it because I don't want this thing to turn against me and lose money, right? If it turns down, I'm going to get stopped out, and that's fine. I'm still profitable. As this thing continues to go up, when it crosses the next pivot point, now I'm above this R1, I'm going to manually move that stop limit to a couple pennies below that R1 level. And I'm going to continue to manually trail this thing as long as it continues to go up. Now in this case, you can kind of see if I had done that and put a stop limit kind of in that area underneath that R1 or underneath that pivot, when this guy turned back down, he'd stop me out. But that now I've made a profit between that P level and where I entered there. So there's my profit. And that's kind of pretty much our strategy. is I'm going to enter that. I'm going to manually trail this thing up as long as it's swinging upward. When it turns against me, it's going to stop me out. I'm going to make a profit. I'm going to wait for it to come back down, establish support, cross the VWAP, swing it back up. Again, that's pretty much our strategy. That's how we make money. We're swing traders primarily. Now, we do other strategies, long-term investments, dividends, etc. But, you know, when people ask, what's your price target? Well, my price target is when the thing peaks out and turns down. I'm going to take my profits. If it keeps going up, I'm going to keep manually moving my stop up until it turns against me. Does that make sense? So if you have any questions about that or comments, put it in the comments below. But I hope this discussion helps you understand what our strategy is. You know, how are we putting in stops? I put stops in there in case I'm not watching. If I'm laying on the beach or I'm traveling or whatever and this thing turns against me, I don't want to lose my profit. So I'm going to put a stop in there kind of at a safe place, usually 2 levels below, unless I'm being more aggressive, and then it might be 1 level below, but usually it's 2 levels below the current price. I'll put a stop limit, let it go. I might put a take profit at upper resistance. Again, if I can't watch it and I think the thing might spike up and hit that, I might put a take profit order up here as well. So I hope that helps, and then we'll jump into our other stocks. Okay, back to our watch list for this week. We talked about DDD, 3D systems. We're going to continue to leave that on the watch list, wait for a little dip, and probably buy the dip on DDD. GLDI, we went long GLDI on the 15th, as we posted in the comments of last week's game plan. Again, we highly recommend that you watch the comments of the weekly game plan. So we'll post when we go long, when we get stopped out, etc. We'll also post that to some of our social media, primarily our Twitter account. So please also follow us on Twitter, but please keep an eye on the comments of the watch list, as that's when we'll post when we go long, at what price, etc., some of our justification, etc. So we try to give our BeachBum trading subscribers kind of the first shot. You know, when we go long, we try to post that information out to the comments as soon as possible, and then in other social media as well. So we want you to be able to take advantage, since you're part of our BeachBum trading community. If you choose to take advantage of these trades and follow us in these trades, that's up to you, but we want you to have that opportunity if we can. So again, we went long GLDI, which is the ETN, the monthly paying ETN on gold. So we went long on gold again. Gold seemed, as you can see in part 1, it seems to kind of have hit a support, turned up. We'll hold on to that. Again, as we just talked about our strategy for how we trail this manually with stop limits. We'll just trail this guy as long as he keeps going up. We'll keep collecting the dividends. When he turns against us, we'll take a nice profit, and we'll play it again. We also went long on Grow. I'm going to take Grow off of our watch list. I'm going to take GLDI off of our watch list because we're already long those. But if you are not already, something you might want to consider. Grow is an investment company, and they invest in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, NFTs, etc. You can see more discussion on our thesis on Grow in last week's game plan. We are now long Grow, so I'm going to take it off our watch list. Again, it's something you might want to consider. It is still down because of the decline in cryptocurrency, so I think there's still an opportunity to go long Grow. We still like it. Again, we're going to hold on to it, collect the dividends, and swing it up. So again, you can see how easy it is to maintain a watch list in Webull. I just select it, right click, I can remove things, I can move them, etc. So we're going to leave pets on. We still like pets. It went up. We didn't want to chase it up. We still like it. We're going to look for a dip, a nice support. Go long pets. Pets pays a dividend as well. We've swung it and sold covered calls against pets in the past, and that's what we're looking to do again. Once it establishes support, crosses the VWAP, swings up, we'll go long pets, hold it, probably write covered calls against it, collect dividends, etc., and swing it up long term. We still like ROKU. We haven't been chasing it. It's been pretty volatile. It did have some news about a patent infringement case. I was a little concerned that might take a hit. It did not seem to at this point. But it then did run up. I wasn't going to chase it. I would like to have it come back down to the support level, in which case, again, we would go long ROKU. It looks like it's established a good support. It was dropping pretty precipitously, but you can see how volatile it's been. So I'd like to catch a dip on ROKU. You can see our previous video on our thesis on ROKU. Why do we like it? Why are we watching it, etc. Please see our previous video if you have not already on our thesis on ROKU. TTT, again, we will continue to watch TTT, which is the long on the yield of Treasury bonds, 20 plus year Treasury bonds. It's a leveraged ETF on 20-year Treasuries yield. So when the price goes up, the yield comes down. So we're waiting for another spike in that price. Again, you can see our thesis. Look at the futures in part 1. More discussion on why we think this is a good play. You can see what we're looking for. I'm just waiting for another dip on the Treasury yield, and we would go long TTT, scalp it again. This is another one we'll keep scalping as long as that plays out. You'll hear my discussion on BMD. I'll leave it there. It's been volatile. We haven't really chased it, haven't got an opportunity. I'd kind of like it down this 5 range again. It's low float, it's profitable, so take a look at it. Zoom, actually before I go to Zoom, let's talk about USOI, which is oil. We had a long position, we got stopped out of it, we made a nice profit. We're going to put USOI back on the watch list. Again, oil has been oscillating between 68 and low 70s. If we get another dip in USOI, and again, here's how you add one on the watch list. Just put it in the symbol. We must have it in our ETF watch list. Okay, it's still in current. I want to put it there. So we look at oil. This is again the leverage, this is the ETN, the Credit Suisse monthly paying ETN on oil. Again, if we get a nice dip down to this support, which would mean oil down below 70 in the 68-ish range, we get a dip, we'll go long USOI, long oil using USOI. Again, there's predictions, that oil will go 100, 115 as we talked about in part 1. We're going to keep scalping oil, same way with USOI. If it happens to uptrend, we'll just sit there and collect the dividends. So we keep swinging oil with USOI. We're going to keep Zoom on our watch list. Again, it looks like it's got a nice bottom. And now with the seesaw into pandemic lockdown, you can see Zoom ran up on Friday. So there was Friday was a lockdown day, a pandemic day. Everything ran up. If it seesaws back down and we get a reopen day, which it could be any day. Tomorrow could be reopen day, or Tuesday could be reopen day. When this swings back down, it looks like it has established a nice support in this 175-ish area. And again, if it comes back down and is stable across the VWAP again, we will go long on Zoom. But our tendency is not to chase these guys, so I'd rather let it come down by the dip and then trail it up. We like Zoom. Again, we can talk in more detail about maybe I should do a due diligence video on the technology, etc. I've got some experience in that area. So we hope this all helps, and please, keep an eye on the comments, as we'll be looking for additional opportunities on a daily basis. We'll post them to the comments of this video. We'll post it to our Twitter as we're able, etc. We'll Please join us also in the Facebook group. If you have further questions, please post it in the comments of this video. You can post it in our Facebook group. We can have discussions there as well as in Twitter, etc. So if you have any questions, comments, etc., we'd love to hear your feedback. We hope you like this video. Please smash the like button so that the YouTube algorithm will share this video out with further of your fellow BeachBum traders and fellow traders around the web. If you're not already subscribed, part of our BeachBum trading community, we hope you will choose to subscribe and join us. And please hit the bell icon so you're notified of future videos. And please share this with all your fellow traders and friends. Again, we hope this all helps. Please let us know. We wish you good luck and have a great trading week. We hope that you like our weekly game plan for the trading week for this week. Thank you for watching the video to the end. If you found this helpful, we hope that you will choose to subscribe to our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. And please click the bell icon below to automatically be notified whenever we publish a new video. Please also share this with your fellow traders and friends via the share button included below. And let us know if you found our weekly game plans helpful in the comments included below. And let us know how we can improve. What would you like to see more, less of, etc. Thank you again for watching. Good luck and have a great trading week.